Hi everyone. Today's video is not so much a discussion of any particular topic, but rather a video laden with questions, being me trying to make sense of life and the world. The rest is explaining myself and my thoughts on certain matters, and yes, at first you may think this video is not about the royals, but it is, so just hang in there. We have known since mid-December that a portion of the Epstein documents containing names will be released starting January the 1st. I was under the impression that it would be one big data dump, that the documents will be released all at once. But no, it appears it will come out little by little, drip, 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 which already makes me a little suspicious. And in my humble opinion, I do not think we will ever see the truly nasty stuff. I think the things which are released will serve more to exonerate some people than to point to those who are really guilty. But before I carry on, I need to explain something to you, and I feel it is important for you to take to heart before continuing with this video. Growing up in Africa and living through what I have lived through, seeing what I've seen in my lifetime, I'm just a tad hard and maybe a little less sympathetic or empathetic to certain things than maybe the average European or American person. When I was younger and still traveled a lot more than I do now, I often found people in other countries in general, okay, not everybody, in general, a little naive. And I honestly don't mean it in a bad way. I honestly, truly do not think it is necessary for everyone to be exposed to everything in life. And I often regret having placed myself in places and positions where I was exposed to all kinds of situations. Anyway, having said all of this, let's get back to the documents released and the royals. Now, as far as I am, and I'm going to put a exclamation here, I'm going to do this in smaller parts, okay? So I'm taking it step by step. So where I am now in this particular video, there is nothing said about Andrew and Epstein yet. Disclaimer, I know things have come out since. I'm saying as far as I am, there's nothing yet. But Andrew's name will be mentioned. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I know that it has, because I have now since noticed that more pages have come out. However, we know it and we expect it, and it will not be a surprise at all because Andrew himself admitted to knowing and being friends with Jeffrey Epstein. First and foremost, the main reason why I'm not ready to speculate or judge Andrew, and why I likely never will, is because I vowed not to until the same kind of scrutiny and behaviors are applied to his brother Charles and his friendships with Savile Ball, Van der Post, and a couple of others. No, I am not saying Charles got involved with any of Savile Ball and Van der Post's nefarious doings. But then we also cannot say that Andrew did. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. And if we are going to take Charles's word that he wasn't involved in, say, Savile's nefarious doings, then we have to take Andrew's word. It's as simple as that. And I mean, it applies throughout. I've heard the most slanderous, unsubstantiated narrative in videos, read the most slanderous and unsubstantiated narrative regarding members of the royal family over the past few days. And yes, let me explain it to you like this. Jimmy Kimmel just threatened to sue someone if he continues to indicate that Kimmel was involved with Epstein's shenanigans. And then everyone in the comment section goes, "Oh, he is protesting too much. Oh, why is he carrying on this way if he is innocent?" Well, sorry guys, but had someone indicated, or even if it was supposedly a joke, that I was involved with child abuse and trafficking, he would be explaining himself in court before he can get a giggle out of anyone. So no, I do not think Jimmy Kimmel is protesting too much. And anyone who at this point are stretching the truth and adapt lies to come up with scandalous content is actually putting themselves at risk of a lawsuit. And I think that soon I particularly abhor the fact that Princess Beatrice and Eugenie are dragged into the Epstein suicide and trafficking saga. It is baseless. Yes, people are saying, but Epstein, Weinstein, and Maxwell were invited to Eugenie's 18th birthday. Yes, and so what? I invited my friends and my parents, their friends, and neither I nor my parents, for that matter, really knew what went on behind closed doors of any of those people. And no matter what you are being told, to make someone guilty by mere association is one, ridiculous, and two, slander. To indicate the fact that the Yorks frequented Soho House and knew Ron Burkle is proof of their nefarious conduct is also disgusting and slanderous, unless you can prove that Ron Burkle is into some, say, serious prostitution or drug smuggling or whatever. Ron Burkle remains nothing more than a shrewd businessman. And the same applies to his numerous businesses and Soho houses, etc. Unless you can prove that Soho houses are more than just restaurants, bars, some with a hotel set up attached, etc., you have no reason to call a friendship between Eddie Royal and, say, Ron Burkle, or even Marcus Anderson for that matter, nefarious or scandalous. Everyone on social media and even certain newspapers appears to, however, ignore the fact that news stories like these should be based on fact, even if somewhat loosely, and with all the theories and conspiracies flying around ominously like black crows in the night. I foresee an array of court cases, defamation cases in particular, emanating from the Epstein-Maxwell saga. And if people don't start separating fact from fiction, I see a number of YouTube channels not making it much longer. On this particular channel, I can tell you now that unless or until someone provides me with hard evidence, like photographs, a recording, email, letters, anything like that, I shall continue to defend Beatrice and Eugenie York, and shall continue to call out creators who make up stories based on their parents' affiliations. Those two women have not had any scandals. No excessive drinking, no drug taking, no multiple partners, nothing. They are both highly educated and hold responsible jobs along with raising young children. Anyway, as I'm making notes for this rather disjointed random video, I see in my feed that by now, well over 900 pages of documents have been released, and names like George Lucas, Marvin Minsky, Alan Dershowitz, Michael Jackson, David Copperfield, Pope John Paul II, Oprah, Jean-Luc Brunel, Leslie Wexner, Bill Richardson, Al Gore, and Stephen Hawking are all named. Now, the actual documents, or at least as far as I got, tell us one thing in particular, and that is that some of these people's connections were indeed incidental, like attending the same event or same trips, with no evidence of them being involved in Epstein's crimes whatsoever. You know, this is what bothered me most right from the beginning of the case. Jeffrey Epstein was human. He played golf and tennis, took a dip in a swimming pool, shit, shaved, and showered, had a career as an investment manager, and from what I can see, the investments he made on behalf of other people were quite successful. The point I'm making is not that Jeffrey Epstein was a good guy. No way. He was a slimy, scaly SOB and a real nasty piece of work. But he was not frolicking about with young girls 24/7, 365 days of the year. He also had a business side. He also came across as knowledgeable and could allegedly talk on any topic. He donated to a number of causes. So, whenever you look at the people who had any kind of involvement with him, you have to ask yourself, what drew them in? What aspect of Jeffrey drew them in? The business side, the intelligent man of the world side, the sporty side, or the sick fetish side? Because all of these sides existed. So far, I'm on the testimony of Johanna Schoberg. Now, this is where some bleeding hearts will start to like me less, and where my questions start forming. Johanna Schoberg, according to her testimony, was a 20-year-old student when she was recruited to work for Epstein. I repeat, she was, by her own admission, a 20-year-old student, legally an adult, and definitely not a child, and definitely not in my eyes. In her deposition, Johanna talked about certain names. Juan Alisi and Alfredo Rodriguez, Epstein's farm estate manager and butler, were both named in the deposition. Jean-Luc Brunel, in the deposition, he was named as a friend of Jeffrey Epstein who helped procure women and underage girls for Epstein through his connection to the modeling world. Bill Richardson, the former governor of New Mexico, who was previously reported to have visited the ranch at least once. And in a previously unsealed deposition, Virginia Giuffre, please note, Virginia Giuffre was allegedly ordered to have sex with him. Before his death, he denied the allegation, and nothing in Johanna's deposition says otherwise, at least not as far as I got. David Copperfield. In her deposition, Johanna Schoberg said that she had dinner with David Copperfield at Epstein's home, but she does not accuse him of any wrongdoing. According to her deposition, David Copperfield guessed at what was going on, but they did not continue the conversation or go into specifics. So obviously, David Copperfield got a sniff of what was going on, and that is why he behaved himself, in my opinion. All right, guys, honestly, I didn't have the time to read any of the deposition any further. I am getting to the Andrew part, and there are a couple of other things which have now popped up in my feed, but we'll do that in the next video. Okay, there's going to be a couple of short videos popping out because I've got a couple of replies to some other things which I saw being randomly put out in social media, and I think it is important to correct. Not that people want to hear the truth, they are far more impressed with the salacious and the dirty and the filthy, and you know, it's a lot more fun. But unfortunately, that's not what we do on this channel. Here, we try and get to the truth. Okay, guys, so I'll see you in an hour, 2 or 3. Until then, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.